We're continuing our discussion about what is going on to make sure that you know what rights you have if you have been a victim, unfortunately, of crime. We still have the Attorney General of Guam, the Honorable Elizabeth Barrett Anderson, in here, and a good friend of ours, Carol Hinkle Sanchez. Hafa
Jason, hafa day.
All right, good to have you back. So, Madam AG, continuing that conversation, the AG's office, especially under your tenure, has always tried to maintain its pace with technology, and it's a frenetic pace to keep up with and everything like that. But you were talking about getting kids aware of the penalties of sexting and everything like that.
Absolutely.
What work have you done to try and at least make yourself aware of all the different forms of communication that exist today?
Well, it's kind of scary because for parents, you're not quite aware of what your children are looking at on their cell phones. And my goodness, as early as age 7, if not 6, kids have cell phones, or what they're doing on the computer. And sexting and the trauma that occurs to a young child who receives a sexting text can be devastating. And it can cause some very serious psychological concerns for children, including suicide. So Carol is our #1 Deputy Attorney General who goes around to the various schools preaching, can I say that? Or educating and training the kids and teachers about what is sexting. Carol, go ahead and.
Sure. Yeah, so we continue to do the outreach in the schools as well as in public. We started the Restorative Justice Program in our office recently, the HERO program. And basically what we do is we try to bring in the kids who commit those types of offenses and make them realize it is actually criminal in nature, because it constitutes child pornography if you look at it. But at the same time, educate them, because the more important information that needs to be sent to them is they don't intend to commit the crime. They do it for other reasons, but we want them to understand the consequences to it are lifelong. It goes beyond their lifetime. Anything online it has a significant impact in anyone's life. And
may I ask, how is that message received? Because like we're old enough to remember when we were youngsters in school, GPD would come out and they'd take like the nice guy approach and say, hey, we're on your side, we're looking out for you. And then we also had programs like Scared Straight, where they said, if you mess up and everything like that, there are vastly difficult repercussions.
Well, let me add to this.
Sure.
When you tell a child that if they send a sexting message through their phone, that phone is evidence, we will take their phone and they will never have a phone.
That's pretty damning.
They're
for a
going to
young
lose
child.
their phone or their computer. So if you use a cell phone, if you use a computer to engage in a criminal act, you will lose that cell phone and you will lose that computer. And I'm sure your parents won't give you another one for a long time.
And for most kids, that does it? Or
you know what it does, and I think what also gives them a good picture is we also end up showing them the sex offender registry as well, and what information is on the sex offender registry, which is what they could be on had they been charged as an adult, and it has everything, and they're on it for the rest of their life. And those things, they kind of start to see it. It's really hard, as you heard Major Chong talk about, it's really placing that education to them and making them understand, because when they grow up, they're used to parents teaching them safety roles, but as they get older, they kind of don't know the roles, especially online. It's a totally different world that not so many people are familiar with. So they start to learn the rules, and we try to teach them the rules. It's good to go online, but you have to be safe no matter what you do.
Well, playing up with the theme of communication, because the National Crime Victims Week Fair, of which you spoke, is obviously, you said the community at large is welcome, and is that more so that the community can dialogue with you and you can also learn what some of the major concerns are, as well as passing on information to us?
I would love to hear from the public and the community with regard to their being victims of crime. Like I said, there's a whole universe of victims of crime, and we're trying to, and in my tenure as Attorney General, I'm trying to reach that universe out there. It's very difficult because really these projects and programs don't happen overnight, but the more I'm able to get the word out, get the message out, the better it is for our agency to grow these programs. Our Victim Service Center is now on the 2nd floor of the ITC building. If you believe you're a victim of crime and you need some services, contact the Victim Service Center. They'll guide you as to where you can get particular services. Not all crimes are solved. You and I are victims of burglary, but my burglary was never solved. But doesn't mean I'm not a victim of crime. And I'm angry. I'm angry. And to the extent that we can at least tell victims of crime. And also I want to add that if you are a victim of a serious crime, there are 22 types of serious crimes such as murder, aggravated assault, rape, then the Criminal Injuries Compensation Fund that just got going last year, you can apply for compensation. There are limits as to how much money you can recover. Unfortunately for you and I, burglary is not among the various crimes that we
But I
can
think
use
understanding the scope is very important.
The scope, exactly. Yeah. And so if you're a victim of a serious case, if you are the surviving family members of a murder victim, then you can apply to the Criminal Injuries Compensation Fund for recovery, monetary recovery.
All right. Well, thank you so much, both, and we will definitely be there to cover that for you. And
thank
you know, Madam Attorney General, ever since you took office, you have stressed transparency, and you have emphasized the fact that your work certainly is not a one-way communication.
Thank you so much, Jason, and thank you to the listening audience.
All right. Thanks, Carol. Good to see you as always.
Good to see you too.
All right. Please stay tuned, everybody. We will be back with more after this.